my rock bottom happened at 28. Financially,
Wow.
spiritually, physically, emotionally. I had a lot of successes on the outside, but internally there was a lot of things I was struggling with, and addiction was one of them. As a shopaholic, and I had already
Wow.
maxed out 7 credit cards, and I just kept doing the balance transfer over and over. I knew how to work with the credit cards now at that point because I always felt so alone and never really could ask for help. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out. I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm in debt. I'm not going to tell anyone that I have a problem. So that hyper independence and asking for help is something I'm still healing from.
People don't forgive themselves. You end up just replaying the same cycles over and over and over until you take that accountability and say, I was wrong. Let me forgive myself.
It's like something clicked. I say this was divine intervention. This was God. Because I didn't want to tell anyone. No one knew what I was going through. I didn't want to tell anyone because I was very ashamed.
I think that's why I'm so transparent, because I've learned that everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something or been through something.
This mindset shift of I really need to make it to New York was like, I really got to help myself. Damn, I have to get out of this self-pity, my denial of me even having this addiction.
What's a lie you had to unlearn?
Oh God, there's like 3 million. I think the most recent one I would say.
I'm Mr. Made Different, and this is the Words of Encouragement podcast, where we talk faith, purpose, and becoming everything God designed you to be. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Words of Encouragement podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Made Different. Today I got a special guest in studio. Well, she's not in my studio, but y'all know what I mean. But before I get into that, please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, and also subscribe to the channel for more interviews. Please just tap in with us. Today's guest is a woman who turned her pain into purpose and built a movement around it. She's the CEO and founder of Repurpose Your Life, a holistic business coach, transformational leader, and visionary who helps women and impact-driven leaders declutter what's blocking them so they can build aligned, purpose-led lives and businesses. Her story is one of true reinvention, overcoming more than $100,000 in debt, transforming her personal struggles into a powerful platform for change. She's been featured on CNN, New York One, and over 30 global stages, and her work has helped more than 65 entrepreneurs and countless community members step into clarity and purpose. With over 2 decades in the fashion and wellness industry, Isabel has collaborated with brands like LVMH, Saks Fifth Avenue, and Balmain, leading sustainability efforts that kept over 50,000 units of textile waste out of landfills. She's also a sound healer and shamanic apprentice, weaving spiritual practices with personal growth and business strategy to help people rise from within. Everyone, help me welcome to the Words of Encouragement podcast, Isabel Varela.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your story. Where are you from? Your upbringing. How was that for you?
Okay. So I was actually born down south in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I was the only one born in the States. My mom was from Honduras and my dad was from Panama. And growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana was very interesting because there weren't a lot of people like me. So I always dived into the arts and nature. That's what I spent most of my time doing. I did have 2 older brothers. So, I was definitely a tomboy. So but my feminine side loved the fashion. And I grew up watching fashion shows, novelas with everyone dressed to the nines all the time. Yeah. And I would spend a lot of time in Books-A-Million. I don't know if if anyone still goes there, Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah.
and just sift through all the magazines, whether it's art or fashion. And I spent a lot
Okay.
of time, which was the beginning of my repurposing days. I would actually pick up a lot of trash on the side of the road and repurpose it, whether it would pieces of wood, old luggages. My parents didn't like that too much, but those were my treasures to
Yeah.
repurpose it.
Wow. Wow. At what age was that?
I would say I started pretty young, probably like 12, because I
Okay.
would walk around in the neighborhood. I couldn't go that far because being in the only girl in the family, they'd be like, please don't go farther than like, a block. But
Yeah.
I would walk around the neighborhood and people would always leave their things out. So those were my Saturdays. I would watch
Mm.
some cartoons, but then spend the rest of the day outside, like picking up things, lugging them back to the house to make stuff out of it.
One person's trash is another person's treasure. So
That's
hey,
right. That's right.
what did you do with all that trash? Did you like remake something out of it? Like, what did you
Oh,
do
yes,
with
I
that?
did. So I used a lot of spray paints and painting. Um,
Mm.
and I actually would find pieces of wood and I got obsessed for like a season. I was creating little stencils of all my favorite, like it would be things that I would see. So if it was a person in a magazine, a tree, um, musicians, and then I started showing it to my friends and they're like, I want one. I was like, oh, I guess it's the beginning of my entrepreneur days besides selling lemonade
Yeah.
at the lemonade stand. And then I would do, I actually still have some pictures funny in my phone because both of my
Wow.
parents already passed, but I would create these abstract pieces of wood and then I would like nail things in together, paint everything. Uh yeah, that was my time to just dream and create whatever the heck was up here.
Wow. 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 That's pretty amazing. A 12-year-old, and I'm pretty sure at the time you didn't envision you redoing doing this business now called Repurpose Your Life. Like,
No, but when I
wow.
when I look back, I believe that was like the beginning. And I would spend
Yeah.
all my time outside and then I would have my imaginary friends. And then I would then bring my pieces of art and then I would like put them around the trees. So that was the beginning of Repurpose Your Life and what I do now.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's that's amazing. That's amazing. So we were talking before, you mentioned New York. You love New York. New York for me is like a love-hate thing because it's it's so crowded. I'm from the islands. I'm from St. Lucia. If you've never heard of it, it's an island in the Caribbean. And I moved here in 2008. But before that, I used to visit my father. He lived in Florida for some time. And I used to visit him. And then sometimes we'll go to New York. And it was just so crowded. It raised my anxiety to be around all these people. Like, so you saying that you love New York, what drove that love for New York? From being from a small town in Louisiana, like what drove that love for that?
Oh, so and I can understand the love-hate relationship. I'm actually trying to move upstate now, but I still love it
Okay.
here. Um,
Yeah.
what drove it is coming from a small town, I always wanted to live in the big city. I would watch it on TV, and there was
Yeah.
um this movie called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead by and the actress was Christina Applegate. She was the main lead,
Mm, yeah.
and she was also from a small town, but then she got a job in the big city. And to me, it was like, that's New York. I don't know if it was New York in the movie, but to me, that was New York. Any big city, big
Yeah.
building, that's New York City to me. And she got this job working for a fashion brand. And then she went back home and she built this like massive runway outside in her backyard. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I want to go to New
Yeah.
York and I want to do all of these things. And whenever I would see the runways, the fashion weeks online. I'm sorry, not online, on TV, Paris, New York. I got so excited. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be there and I want to
Yeah.
be making all of those things. And so it just was in my head. And the one time I got to visit New York, I think it was like 14. It was so cold. And everyone, I mean, coming from the South, I've actually been to St. Lucia, and that's a whole nother story as well, how I got there. I
Oh,
worked on the
wow.
islands for a little bit, but as a wardrobe stylist for movies. But we'll go back to the first time I visited New York. It was freezing, but I loved it.
Wow.
And my parents were so cold because it's warm in the South. And Florida too, it's
Yeah.
warm. It doesn't get cold. We didn't have enough like all this sweaters and jackets and stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, I want to live here one day. And my parents were like, it's
Wow.
cold.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Um, so when did you finally move to New York? How was that transition from country town, small country town to Big Apple?
So there was a bit of a story before New York. So um from Lake Charles, then I moved to Texas. I lived in Dallas, Texas for a little
Mm,
bit. And that's where I
okay.
built my first business. Um I was 23 years old. It was a fashion brand. It was called my name, Isabel. Actually, Isabel was my fashion brand because I've built a
Yeah.
few brands, but
Okay.
then I had a whole whirlwind I had a lot of successes on the outside, but internally there was a lot of things I was struggling with, and addiction was one of them.
Mm,
As a shopaholic,
mm,
and this is important. I was obsessed with the show Sex and the City. I wanted to be Carrie Bradshaw. So I thought, let me be the Latina version of Carrie Bradshaw and get all of these shoes and all of this
yeah.
clothes. Cause that show to me was the epitome of what I wanted my life to look like and to live in New York and not be a writer, but be a fashion designer. Um,
Yeah.
and I got to New York at the age of 29. Because I had a really my rock bottom happened at 28, financially,
Wow.
spiritually, physically, emotionally, and then it took me. Oh, actually, no. When I turned, oh, no, actually, sorry, rewind. 30. I moved to New York at 30. I was about to turn 30.
Okay.
Because it took me a bit of 2 years to kind of get my life back together. I still had a whole bunch of debt, but at that point, it's like either I go or I don't know when I'm going to be able to have this chance again. Um,
Yeah.
so I took the chance, sold everything, my whole apartment, everything in it, my car, moved to New York City
Wow. Wow.
on my own. I didn't know anybody here except one other person that I was living with.
Wow. Okay. Man, that's so you with all that debt, you moved to the most expensive city.
I know. My therapist at that point that became my mentor was like, this is really worrisome, Isabel, but I believe in you. And I mean, I always had like at least 3 jobs. And when I moved to New York,
Yeah.
I got 3 jobs. um,
Got you.
and actually, this is the ironic thing. I actually was able to pay my debt off the quickest living here in New York City because of
Mm,
everything that I won, all the opportunities. Um, and that's where I built 2 businesses while working full time. So I was able to recoup all the money for making payments of $25 a month all the way to $2,500 a month.
yeah.
And that's why I was able to pay off that debt in 7 years. Although it took me a long
Wow.
time in the beginning because of me, my mind had to rewire my thoughts, actions, behaviors, intentions, everything. But once I got into like I would say the being persistent on that, then that's when I started to see the debt decrease.
Okay. Okay. So I want to. How does that look like? You hit rock bottom, got all this debt. Feel like you probably drowning. Feel like you can't get above water. And now you decide to make this big change to move to New York. what does the mindset, what mindset does it take for you to like, I'm drowning over here. Is it like am I running away from my responsibilities, or am I just new beginnings? Let me figure out how to fix the past. Like, what is the mindset behind that?
So I would say if we start with the mindset that I had when I found out, found out my own issues, I was still
Mm,
in denial. So at 28 is
mm,
when I got a phone call from the car insurance saying that my car's about to get repossessed, because at that point I hadn't paid my car in 3 months, my rent, my utilities. And I had already
wow.
maxed out 7 credit cards, and I just kept doing the balance transfer over and over. I knew how to work with the credit cards now at that point. And um, I what motivated me at that point to finally be like, what the hell am I doing? Was actually the fact that if I don't change what I'm doing now, I will never be able to make it to New York City for my dream. Because on the outside, I was very well known in the South. My clothing brand was in 5 stores. I was in a luxury, like consignment store at Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. Um, and then I was on magazines, I was dressing celebrities, I was in the it crowd in Dallas, Texas back then. But I was
Yeah.
in so much denial, and I was hiding in so much of all the layers of clothes and the shoes and the fame I had back then in Texas. But just the fact that I wasn't going to be able to make my dream because of all this debt, and I'm literally like at this point I'm like, I don't even know what to do. At that point,
Mm,
it's like something clicked. I said this was divine intervention. This was God. Because I didn't want to tell anyone. No one knew what I was going through. I didn't want to tell
yeah.
anyone because I was very ashamed. And especially not anybody, like clients. No, nobody.
Yeah.
I ended up finding my mentor, who actually passed last year, but he was first my therapist, and that was through someone that I was dating. And that
Yeah.
ended quickly after I started therapy. But he was the first person that helped me to take accountability and look at my own
Okay.
things and my issues. So
Mm,
I started therapy. I had to close my business because I couldn't keep going. I mean, I was running this business on red, and then and I also was dating an investor prior to this boyfriend. It's wild. This is wild stories, but um, I ended up getting a full-time job working at Nordstrom, and I got a job as a seamstress. And I got
mm,
into a debt management program where I told them, and I felt like they were the first person I could confide in. And I
yeah.
just like vomited all this, like, I don't even know what to do. I'm in so much debt. I was like, this is what's happening. And they actually helped me to get into a management program to start paying down my debt. It's like, this is all I can do right now. And I said, I just got my job. I'm going to start working full time. And then that
Yeah.
was the beginning of my entire shift. And so then 2 years after that, I started my alterations and custom business. I started my brand again, but I was now doing custom and alterations because at that point, I don't have to spend so much money on making new garments. I'm just using the same ones, and now I'm picking up clients to
Yeah.
make things for them. There's way more
Okay.
viable. And then this mindset shift of I really need to make it to New York was like, I really got to help myself. Damn, I have to get out of this self-pity, my denial of me even having this addiction.
Mm,
Um, and my mentor, my therapist then, I'll just call him my mentor now so everyone knows. um,
yeah.
he taught me how to process my emotions. One, name them. Number two, understand what they are. And number three, what to do with them. And then the most important thing that I learned from him that is forever ingrained is that my core, which is our soul, it's always good and lovable.
Yeah.
Like we can't break it. We didn't make that. It's like, it's our soul. We can't do anything with it. Like it is what it is. It
Yeah.
is perfect. But what I'm working on is the outer shell, which is changing my action, behaviors, thoughts, and intentions. And
Mhm.
so I know that my core is good and lovable, but I got to work on all these other things. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that helped me to see that even though I kept making mistakes, I'm not a bad person. It's just I'm making mistakes and I need to take accountability and then build that self-respect so then I can start changing it and
Mhm.
moving forward instead of continuing in my same hamster wheel that I kept going round and round and round. So that was the
Mhm.
mindset shift. It was a process. It wasn't immediate of like, yeah, this is it. Hell no. It
Yeah.
actually took a lot
Yeah.
of rewiring, messing up, falling back into my patterns. And
Mhm.
then once I moved to New York, ooh, then that's the next journey.
Okay. Okay. So you had to, I hear the saying all the time, you had to, in order to heal, you had to reveal. You had to tell somebody what you was going through so they
Yeah.
could, potentially help you or find the answers to, help you get out that space. And also, I think two people, you said a key thing there, like it took time. You fell back into your patterns. You just had to correct it again and forgive yourself again and all these things. Um, I did an episode a couple weeks ago talking about forgiveness. You got to forgive yourself. And I think if people don't forgive themselves, you end up just replaying the same cycles over and over and over until you take that accountability and say, I was wrong. Let me forgive myself. It's easier to forgive people that do us wrong sometimes than it is for us to forgive our own selves for doing wrong in our lives. So that's a key point that I heard you say, man. That's pivotal. So I don't want to move too far ahead, but they made that transition to New York. Life is getting a little bit better. You're in these programs to, fix your debt. What made you still want to chase your dreams after seeing what you left behind? Most people will be like, man, I'm throwing the towel. Like,
It must have been the grit and resilience that I saw in my parents.
mm,
So my, because everyone in my family, and it's funny, I didn't realize this until now. Both of my parents already passed, but my
sorry for the
dad,
loss.
oh, thank you. My dad came from Panama. He studied, he made it to America and like busted his butt to make a living and then make enough money for the family. My mom also went to general business school in accounting. She helped my dad build his business and his practice. And then he went back into working into the corporate field because it was a lot for the business and he was getting older. My brothers both started business. One of my brothers has been very successful in the work that he does. So my grandmother in Panama started 3 restaurants. So I only
Yeah.
saw that and like the grit and the resilience and the hard work. So I feel like that was definitely instilled in me. Um, but there was one I forgot to mention. This is important because this is what helped me to keep going. So another thing that helped. I joined SCORE and it was it's a free business like mentoring. They helped in like so many different areas, but I signed up when I was in Dallas, Texas, and that was when I shut down my business. I was like, I'm going to start over
Okay.
again. I'm going to do custom and alterations. Let me get a mentor. That's in business. Cause now I have my therapist. Now I have someone helping me pay off my debt with that debt management. I need someone in business. And I was then connected to someone that knew one of the CEOs of Barneys, New York. And I thought to myself,
Yeah.
oh, I want to talk to this person. And so
Yeah.
I said, hey, this is one of my dreams. I want to build my brand. I want to be in New York. This is my lookbook. And this is my company. We didn't have to tell him all the other details, but,
Yeah.
and he said, this is impressive. Let me see if he'll give you some time. 2 weeks
Okay.
later, I got an email saying he'll give you 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to ask? I was like, and
Yeah.
so I started, we didn't have ChatGPT back then. So I had to like sit and think, I was like, what am I going to ask him? Like, let me
Yeah.
Google some things. Let me like read. What am I supposed to ask? And when he called, I mean, I was on the phone, like waiting. Only have 15 minutes. Oh, that's him. So
Yeah.
when I got on the phone, I said, first off, thank you so much. I know we only have 15 minutes. It's like, what do you suggest as someone that is coming from Dallas, Texas, wanting to move to New York? I want to build this brand. I've built it here in Dallas, Texas, but I really know that I could do it in New York. And he said, but I haven't moved yet. I'm working here in Nordstrom. He's like, well, here's a few things. Number one, you can move to New York, work at Nordstrom. Number two, why haven't you moved to New York? What's stopping you?
Yeah.
That was it. And I thought, uh, he's like, are you married? No, I'm not. You have kids? No. So what's stopping you? And I said, and I just said, me.
Yeah. Mm.
He said, well, and then he just kept going and said, if you move here, I would be able to connect you to different people that I know. I would suggest seeing if you can move with Nordstrom. I would suggest coming here to look, and feel free to give me a ring when you're here. And that was 15
Okay.
minutes. And that one question, when I got off the phone, I was like, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm stopping myself. What? And there's a side story. I almost got married, but we both ended it because we both realized we were just doing it because that's what we thought we were supposed to. So in the midst of all of this, that also happened as well right before I moved to, and right before like everything fell. It was like that was one of the things that also was happening. I was like, this is so much happening. It's like I'm stopping myself. So that put the fuel in my butt, and I said,
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself a deadline. I'm going to give myself a year. So I started setting out my resumes. I went to Fashion Week. I saved my money to go to fashion. It was called Fashion Night Out. They don't do that anymore, but it would be an evening where everyone is out, all the stores. Like, I'm going to go, I'm going to meet somebody. And lo and behold,
Yeah.
I met my roommate. And I said,
Wow.
I'm looking to move to New York. He's like, well, I can't hold the apartment for you, but if it's still available. And by the third time that I went to New York to do interviews, because I was online, I was with my resume, I was with what are those companies called that they look for, HR companies. And it was called 24/7, and they found me an interview with Suit Supply. And that was my last interview, and it was my last time to go to New York because I gave myself 3 times to go to New York. And right before I would have to go to the airplane, they offered me the job. And I was like,
Wow.
oh my God. And I texted the girl because I stayed at the
Yeah.
girl's space to see what it would be like to live with her. This stranger I met in New York. um, and I said, I got the job. I'm moving. She's like, when are you coming? I'm coming in June, before my birthday. And so I had
Wow.
already told my job in Dallas and Nordstrom. She was one of my best managers. Her name was Yelena at Nordstrom. She was so supportive, and I moved very quickly because it was a Nordstrom seamstress, like tailoring apprenticeship, but it didn't take me the
Yeah.
3 months or like the 6 months. Yeah, it didn't take me the 6 months. It took me 3 months, and I moved in fast. I was tailoring, I was fitting. And when I told her all the things that I wanted to do, I had tried out for Project Runway 7 times to continue with
Wow.
my dream. I was like, I'm not stopping, man. I'm going to keep trying. And when I told her I got the job, she was so happy for me. And um, it's almost like I got a blessing from her. It's like, you have to go. It's like,
Wow.
you can always come back here, but I don't think you will. And I was like, oh my God. And then I did it. I gave her a month. I told her, hey, I'm going to leave at this time. Sold everything in my apartment. My therapist, we'll just call him mentor now. My mentor was very supportive. He actually, I have a video still. It's from 2013 of him filming me doing like a little video ad. It was like, hey, everybody, I'm selling everything in my apartment, my sewing machines,
Yeah.
my mannequins, the clothes, the samples, everything has got to go. And I'm selling
Yeah.
my car. And that was it. And then I moved, packed 23. I shipped
Yeah.
23 boxes and one-way ticket to New York.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Transitional periods are very difficult sometimes because you don't know if you're coming or going, as
Yeah.
people would say. How do you discern between when it's time to go and when it's time to fight for something to work? Like you said, you almost got married. Like how do you discern, man, I'm gonna leave that marriage stuff alone. How do you discern that? Because some people are stuck in that space where they just can't figure out the choice to make. They have three options to choose from. They like, I don't know which choose, and I don't know what to choose, and they get stuck. You know what they call it, a analysis paralysis. So how do you
Yes.
discern to make the right decision?
Well, it was hard because I was with this person for 8 years, and the wildest thing is that he was born on the same day, same birthday, same year, same hospital, same town. He was born in the morning, I was born at nighttime. And I'm like, dang,
You're
you're a
kidding me.
mirror. Now when I look
That's
back,
wild.
it was a very helpful mirror. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
universe, God, y'all trying to help me, but I'm not listening. So okay. Uh
Wow. Wow. Wow.
what he ended up moving to Dallas, Texas, and he had his dream of moving to California. I had a dream of moving to
Mm.
New York. I'm like, "Uh, how, how is this ever gonna work?" It didn't dawn on me. It's like we can
Yeah.
meet at the middle in Texas. But
Yeah.
I just remember coming home. I was building my business then. And he was working and he was a chef. And we just both came home one day. It's like I was like, I'm not happy. It's like, neither am I. And I'm
Mm.
like, wait, what? I was like, wait a minute. We gotta talk. And this was like, wait, he's feeling the same way as me. And I felt like this was
Yeah.
very powerful. We both
Mm.
sat down for 8 hours. And this was the day before they were going to send out the wedding invitations because everything was set. I had my dress. We had our bachelorette party. My bridesmaids had purchased their dresses, the cake, the church, everything. And there were beautiful invitations the day before. And we sat down for 8 hours. And what happened in that conversation was so much truth and honesty. There was like this massive elephant lifted off of our shoulders. We thought this is what we were supposed to do. And I said, I really didn't want to get married. It's like, why'd you say yes? Why'd you ask?
Yeah.
And then there were so many times that we wanted to end it, and we broke up a few times and like we're
Yeah.
separated. It was like one or two. I don't even remember. That was a while ago. But we just felt like that's what we had to do. And then we had so many of our friends back then that were getting married, and our parents knew each other, and we had been together for almost 8 years at that point. And it was really hard, but then it was such a relief. I didn't get
Yeah.
any sleep. I had a call out. He didn't get any sleep. And then we waited because at 6 a.m. I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, me neither. It's like, what are we gonna do? Like, I don't know.
Mm.
It's like, I think I'm gonna move back home. It's like, I hope you pack up your car. It's like, but it's 6 a.m. I don't think my parents are awake. It's like, neither are mine. It's like, let's wait until 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, it was once we told our parents. I mean, I remember my mom's conversation. I was like, "Are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah, we're sure." I was like, "I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'll do everything, like call, see how the money that we can come back. I'll sell my wedding dress. I'll flowers, whatever we can." Because that's very stressful too, because everything was set. There's a
Yeah.
lot of deposits. But that day, he packed up his car and left. He went home. He went back to Louisiana, and then
Wow.
we both called each other, and he said the same thing. "I feel like a massive elephant just been lifted off my shoulders." I was like, "Me too." Like, I think we did the right thing. And then after that, that was like a massive transition. But while that is happening, I continued in my business in Dallas, and then I had my breakdown with the shopping addiction and like not paying, and then it like then switched again. It's like then 2 years after that, New York City. But it was hard.
There's a deep
That way, but
go
it was a
go
hard decision. I think it was a breaking
yeah,
point of like, I am not happy. I'm not happy. Neither is he.
yeah. There's a definitely a theme that I want everybody to pay attention to is you open your mouth, you reveal what you feeling, what you're going through, and then things kind of fall into place. you know, you do a lot of, help people declutter their life. And it seemed like you had to do a lot of decluttering of your life, from the debt to almost getting married to, saying, "Hey, I'm not happy." And he's feeling the same way, and it just like that dissolve, you know. How do you help people now declutter the things that they're going through in their life?
Ooh, great question. So it's like the way think about decluttering is you're holding space for someone to really be honest and to feel safe enough to share what's really happening on a deeper level that they can't share with other people. Because I found
Yeah.
throughout my entire life, I was always comfortable speaking to strangers and sharing everything with strangers because there's no bias. Like, you don't know me. I don't know if I'm going to see you again. So I was like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
share. So with the
Yeah.
decluttering, it actually started as a decluttering business physically, which I have this I call it the Repurpose Your Life transformation package, where I do go into your home. I declutter your closet. I declutter everything. I declutter your business. We look at your systems, your strategy. We look at your mindset, the stories you're telling yourself, and declutter energetically. So
Mm,
it's at all the 4 bodies helping you declutter. That's a massive transformation. I had a client, it's 5 days of decluttering everything. But by the end of day 1, there's massive shifts of, I don't want to be doing the business that I'm doing the way that I'm doing it. I don't,
mm,
I didn't realize how much I was holding myself back just through the things, because it's always easier to declutter physical things first or look at the
yeah.
business systems first. Then you go, they feel safe enough to then, oh shoot, no, it's actually my mindset when it comes to business. And then again, same thing. It's the mindset and the stories, the old identities that I'm not willing to let go of yet because I'm scared. I don't know what's on the other side. I don't
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. What happens if I feel these painful feelings? So that's how I help people declutter. And it's when people feel they're either stuck or they're going through some transition. So a lot of my clients come to me where they're in some kind of transition, moving from one business, they want to step more into their purpose-driven business,
Mm,
to a corporate, someone in corporate. She worked with me for a year. She has left corporate and she has built her purpose-driven business, and it's amazing to see. But we did a lot of the decluttering, the mindset. I have emotional frameworks, a lot of the systems and processes that I was taught through my mentor, because I became certified life coach through his um through his system. I also became a certified business coach, even though first it was hard knocks because I've helped so many
yeah.
people their businesses from nothing to
Yeah.
their actual reality. And I mixed the two because it's really decluttering. I couldn't get to where I was unless I decluttered everything. But then the most important part is repurposing your wisdom, and then
Mm,
then stepping into transforming and rising. And that's my pivotal. I'm sorry, that's my main framework behind my business. Repurpose your life as you declutter what's not aligned to you to then repurpose your wisdom. And that's turning your pain into purpose to then transforming and rising and stepping into your mission, what you're meant to
yeah.
do here through your gifts and talents, and then transforming that and helping others to rise because you have risen out of your depths. So now you help others.
Wow. Wow. Seems like I might need your services.
Oh, I'd be
I'm in a
willing
transitional
to.
I'm in a transitional year right now. And from because I own a painting business, painting residential and commercial properties. From going to do it everything myself to hiring somebody to help me to then that person, to me getting a job to be able to feed my family and be, have a stable income to then having a second daughter and then quitting the job to now doing the podcast. I'm in like a weird transitional phase right now where I don't even want to touch a paintbrush no more unless I'm doing it to like make art or something. Um, I don't want to go into people's houses painting. I really, it's like, it doesn't give me anxiety, but it makes me anxious to have those moments of like painting somebody's home. Like, you know, it's something I found joy in doing when I was doing it. But now that I'm doing the podcast, this is like so much more purpose driven for me. And that's just me being transparent on where I'm at right now. I still do it because it brings an income, but it's something I don't want to do. I do want to sell everything like you, pack it up and just, full focus on the podcast. But the podcast is not paying me yet. So until it starts paying me, then I can fully transition and be like, get that out the way. But yeah, that's and I've taken some of those steps. I've sold some of the things already. I've sold my work truck, just I don't want to see those things because it's like, it's just reminders. And it's not a fear for me. It's more so just, it still brings me income. So I have to kind of do it to feed my family till things fall into place. So until then, it's like, do away with everything. So I appreciate your wisdom for that. Cause I definitely see me moving in that direction. By 2026, I shouldn't be painting no more. And if I do get paint jobs, not saying I'm going to dissolve my business completely. I have, subs. I have people that I could use to get those things done. But I just I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to paint nobody's house no more. Not the way I used to, at least.
Well,
So
thanks for
that's powerful.
oh, well, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable and being transparent about that. And I want to share, um, so I can definitely empathize. So, whenever I was paying off my debt, because I don't have kids, so I know with kids, there's you're taking care of other people. But
Yeah.
whenever I was working here, then my parents got sick, and then my mentor got sick. There are like different things that I needed to shift as well, so I would have enough time to actually go see them. But
Yeah.
I also, so I kept my full-time job until 2020. I built my two businesses on the side because I wanted to find a creative way of like, look, New York City is expensive. Um,
Yeah.
so I built an Airbnb business. What can I do to where it can help me with something? So I did Airbnb and I still do it. Did it for 12, now it's almost 13 years. Alterations and custom.
Wow.
What is one of my skills that I can do that will help me to bring money? So then I have Airbnb paying my rent, paying for the supplies and everything else that I may need for the house. Now I have my
Yeah.
alterations business that's mainly paying my debt. Then I have my full-time job where I would then invest. So I kept and I still kept my tailoring business. I didn't retire my tailoring business until 2024, but there was a time where I had to shift how I was seeing that. Yes,
Mm,
it's something that was bringing money. Is this what I want to do forever? No. I got to the point where I was resentful. I hated
yeah,
sewing, but it had brought me money. It brought me my own stability, my security
yeah,
here in New York City, um, getting out of debt. And it built a reputation for me to continue to build like clientele, but I hated it. And in 2022, I was like, dude, I can't do that. Like, and it's not cool because you can feel that energy whenever you make something and you're excited. The people
yeah,
that put it on, they're going to be like, oh, I love this. But
yeah,
I started getting into my own roadblocks. I was like, oh, shit, I'm having problems with my clients. They're not happy. It's like, oh, it's me. So
mm,
I had to shift and I was like,
mm,
okay, look, I'm going to say thank you to tailoring. It's helped me a lot to get to this. And I also
yeah,
was getting tired because I worked with a lot of, I started working with celebrities. Oh, that's a whole nother
mm,
story for another day. I had clients like, and I had like my favorite clients because I knew a lot
yeah,
of stylists, but from like Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, which were cool. But then there's J-Lo, there's all these people, the Met Gala and all these things. But because I was tailoring, I was able to get to this point to be able to save enough money to then put into what I really wanted to do. And I
yeah,
think about it like I ended up in the last 2 years because I started building a team because I didn't want to do it anymore. But then I was like, I'm tired. Like I'm doing Repurpose Your Life and this business and Airbnb, but Airbnb was automated. So you find ways to work it, change your perspective because it's not the end game. So it's not your end
yeah,
game. It's just
yeah,
a system and building the system. What you have is it's something that's needed. So if you can make it to where, and I don't believe in people call passive income. I was like, ain't nothing passive. You got to work to
yeah.
actually
No,
make it work.
yeah,
Like,
that's a fact.
it's like, this is not passive.
Yeah,
What are y'all talking about in
yeah,
the internet over there? But,
yeah,
uh, building that team and then hiring, cause then what if that is able to then really bring up more time for you to do this? So it's seeing it in a new
yeah,
way. Cause it is what you do is needed. And
yeah,
it's a needed business, just like alterations is needed.
yeah,
So, but I ended up getting to the point where I had saved enough and then I had enough clients for Repurpose Your Life. And then I finally went full in. And that was last year in August. Last year was a hard year for me, but I retired my business because in the beginning of the year, I tore my knee meniscus, so I had to pivot my business. Then my mentor died in April,
wow,
and then I was like, at that point, my mom's gone, my dad's gone, and my mentor's gone. I was like, oh, it's just me. Then
yeah,
I said, I there's always something that shifts in you when you're grieving and when death comes. So then I retired my business. I'm going to make sure to do the best that I can now to make this really work. So I had to shift that mindset, but I had to think it. So thanking that business that you created to help you to get here. So hopefully that's
yeah,
how it's a long-winded way of saying it, but I wanted to share. I understand, but I can only empathize at this level because I don't have kids. It's just me. I'm just me. And I know that's
yeah.
a different type of responsibility. And so I understand there's pressure as well. So maybe that shift will help you. Hopefully that was,
Yeah, that was definitely helpful because, like you said, you had to reframe your mind and how you see what you're doing. Because you could feel if some days it feels a little bit guilty when somebody asks me to do something and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. You know what I
oh my God,
mean?
yes. Like,
It's like you set a price for them. Like if you pay this, then I'll come do it. But if you don't, then it's like I'm not really interested.
yeah.
Um, and but that's just business in general. Because when I started my business, I was going into people's houses fixing random things. I was like a glorified handyman, and I had to transition from that to be like, okay, what's going to make me the most amount of profit? And I'm not driving all over the city, going into 5 houses a day. You know, I could be in one spot, get that done for maybe 2-3 days, and be out of there. And that's when I started doing painting full time. And then if you have something else, you want me to change a light fixture, fine. I'm already there, cool. But I'm not coming to your house just to change a light fixture, then go to somebody else's house to fix a cabinet door or something,
Oh, yeah.
just random
Yep.
things. So, you know, the guilt never really took over me, but I understand that it could take some people like, I feel guilty for letting that go, or I feel guilty for whatever, for whatever. And I just encourage people not to live in that space of guilt, because it could derail, you moving forward. And like you said, grief. My grandmother died last year. And one of her things was for us to accept Jesus Christ into our heart and to spread the gospel. And I just started doing that. I really started because of my daughter, just sharing messages, wanting to be a speaker, and just reinventing how do I speak. Okay, I don't have speaking gigs. Let me start speaking on the internet. Speaking on the internet transformed me to, creating a podcast and, doing words of encouragement, going live every Wednesday. And then I was like, well, that's kind of burning me out. Let me figure out how to, change that to interviewing people. And I have so many pre-recorded, interviews now. I'm like, okay, I could just drop this every Wednesday instead of burning myself out, trying to find space to, you know, come up with the topic for the Wednesday and doing this and it's taking so much time to prepare for Wednesday and then to do it on Wednesday. It was like, that's burning me out. Let me restructure. So I always encourage people to not just stay where you at, but to always, keep reinventing yourself, and I've reinvented myself probably 10 times this year alone. So, it's nothing wrong with it. That's how you find where you fit in. You just got to keep trying, keep throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So,
Yes, the constantly
man,
evolving.
yeah,
But
constant
good
evolution.
but good for you and you probably don't hear this, and this is something my mentor and I share with all my clients that I work with now, um, uh, is this one line. And this is something you can tell to yourself too. It's like, I appreciate you for not just the work you do, but who you are. So the fact that you've
Mm,
gone through all these changes and the evolving and facing these things and it really sharing the emotions and how you're feeling. And guilt is
yeah,
like one of those like power. It's like guilt and shame. It's just,
yeah,
it kind of lives. I always say kind of lives up in here. But whenever you do,
yeah,
whenever you said, and you said it when you reveal and you actually share what's really actually happening, you actually go through it, because we can't go on top. You got to go through it, like face it.
yeah,
You start to make shifts, and then I'm glad you're doing this too. And so I feel like, and
yeah,
that's why I'm really adamant with people doing something with a purpose and something greater than just ourselves, and doing impact driven business that helps the community, um,
yeah,
has a mission behind it, because that is one, it makes it easier for the really hard days, because entrepreneurship
yeah.
is not it's
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 not for
not
the
easy.
faint of heart.
It is not. um
Yeah,
but it makes it worth it, because then you start to see how the many lives that are being changed, and sometimes you don't even see how big the ripple effect is until someone shares, and then it's like the little toot, 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 you see all that, like people
yeah,
like really happy and thank you. It's like, oh, I've heard what you do, I've heard your podcast, your
yeah,
story really helped. You see it in the comments. So it makes it those really tough times easier, because we're building something greater that I always
yeah,
believe is from up there.
yeah, yeah. It's confirmation about God, because even before I called it a podcast, people would call it a podcast. I mean, I had my mic and stuff, making videos, speaking on, just trying to encourage people. Really, I was trying to encourage myself at the time. It's crazy because when I would edit the videos, I'm like, man, I need to hear this, so it was like, I needed to hear it. I'm just putting it out, and I really started because I was having kids. I was like, God forbid something happened to me, they at least have something to look at and be like, oh, that's my father. This is what he believed in. And that, bled into people saying, hey, man, I love your podcast. I love your podcast. And I was like, it's not a podcast. I'm just online talking. And it really made me where I heard it so many times that maybe I should start a podcast. And now to the point where I'm doing the interviews and the people I'm interviewing is like, I don't even really talk on the camera. I don't really get on camera. Because I didn't want to interview celebrities. Everybody's doing that. I wanted to interview people that's really impacting the world, and they might be unknown to the general public.
Wow.
So I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to talk to the regular, everyday American, regular, everyday person that's just, going through life, whether they're, helping people while they're still struggling or why, whatever it is they're going through, and just get their story and, give other people words of encouragement. So that's why I started it. And that's where it's, it's heading to. And it's phenomenal to hear people say, I don't even really do this, but I'll do it for you. And it's like, why? I still like, why do you want to do this for me? Like, you sure? And they're like, yeah, you're doing something really impactful. So that's only by God. I only go give grace to God for that. We gonna get into the lightning round. I just like to ask, fun hitting questions before we get off. So, a book that changed your life.
Ooh, actually, well, the first one that popped up was actually Many Lives, Many Masters. And then, hold on this sec. I would say that Many Lives and Many Masters. That kind of helped me into the spirituality, to question things.
Got you.
It's by
Okay.
Brian
I'll put that.
Weiss. Yeah,
I'm
Many
gonna
Lives.
put that on my list. Many Lives, Many Masters. Okay.
Yeah.
A daily non-negotiable.
Oh, every morning I have they're called ritual hours. So it's in the morning from 6 to 9. I don't always wake up at 6 a.m., but I have that little block. I either have
Yeah.
to do some kind of meditation, some breathing exercises. I have my movement that I do before I even go exercise, and nature. That
Okay.
that block of time is a non-negotiable.
Got you.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What's a lie you had to unlearn?
Oh God, there's like 3 million. I think the most recent one I would say, because I used to fragment myself because I'm very business. I'm like, I love business, but I was
Yeah.
hiding the side of like being connected to nature, my spirituality, doing sound healing. And it got to the point where I had clients over here who were like, we don't really didn't even know that you do sound baths. And then the clients on this side were like, we didn't even know you're a business coach. It's like, oh God, I'm doing this to myself. So the lie that I
Yeah.
had to unlearn was that I had to conform and fragment myself to please others in case to dim my light, to conform. Because not everyone is
Yeah.
open to spirituality. It's like I'm too business for spirituality and I'm too woo woo for business. But that was
Yeah.
the magic, was what the magic of bringing both of those worlds together. And then clients started saying, well, that's why I want to work with you. Because it's not just business. You see both sides in a holistic way. And it's like, oh, that's the lie. To fragment myself, to
Yeah.
conform and dim my light.
That's powerful. That's powerful because it's really, what I believe in. That's why I call myself Mr. Made Different, is to show up as myself, my whole self, the painter version of me, the podcast. Cause the same way we talking right now is the same way I ask my customers sometimes. I'm asking them questions, like, and they're like, why are it trips them out sometimes. Why are you asking me? I'm telling them, being very transparent with them. Like, I don't really want to paint no more, but I'm doing it to feed my family. This is what I really want to do. And people, it's crazy. Some people won't support it, but the ones who really support it, that's the ones you really need in your life. So I
Yep.
think when you tell people about what you do, it's like a filter almost. You filter out the ones that don't really need to be there for the ones that really need to be there. So I think that's
Yeah.
very important.
Oh my God, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
the filtering is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Something you're still healing from.
What was oh, this was very recent. I had a whole crying session in Central Park on Sunday about this, is because I always felt so alone and never really could ask for help. I didn't feel like I could ask for help, so I took everything. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out. I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm in debt. I'm not going to tell anyone that I have a problem. Um, so that hyper independence and
Yeah.
asking for help is something I'm still healing from, because even here living with my roommates, I remember I'm just so used to doing this. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Even recently, maybe like a month ago, I was upset. I couldn't find this screw for this chair, and I have a new guest coming in for my Airbnb. And I'm like rumbling, like just rumbling, like through the boxes. And my roommate said, it's like, I'm here. You don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
I just started crying. And I was like, it's like those words of like, I wish that I wanted to hear. I needed to hear, because it's that wound. I was like, oh, dang, I still need to look at this. Um,
Yeah.
because I felt like I have to take responsibility for everything, because I can't trust or depend on anyone to do it for me, because I've always been let down. So I'm still healing
Mm.
that hyper independence. It's been very helpful to have these roommates. They're really great. And even having, I have a best friend that she calls me out. She always makes sure
Yeah.
to remind me because of that. And she knows that about me. It's like, I'm always here for you, even if I'm not physically here. So it's allowing others and accepting that emotional support that I felt I always
Yeah.
had to give to myself. So that's something I'm really healing from. Like literally, like I had to cry on Sunday about it.
Okay. That was gonna be my next question. The last time you cried and why, but that completes both of them. That's something that I'm still working through too. I'm the same way, hyper independent. Don't really ask for help. Because I've had people show up for me, but it's like, I don't want to bother nobody with my stuff. So let me
Exactly.
do it myself. I'll figure it out. So that's something I'm still working through, man. Um, I love being able to see myself in others. I think that's why I'm so transparent, because I've learned that everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something or been through something. And when you share, they can offer insight into, oh yeah, I went through that, or I'm dealing with that, or I'm in that same space right now. So that's powerful.
Thank you.
Um,
And I agree with what you said too, with sharing and being transparent, because it really
yeah,
does help someone else. And you're like, oh
yeah,
shoot, because I'm helping myself through this. I'm still struggling with this, but
yeah,
it's reciprocal.
yeah. Oh yeah. Final question. What's your current season teaching you?
Ooh, um, trusting, trusting in the universe, trusting in God,
Yeah,
trusting that things will work out, and letting go of control.
yeah,
Because sometimes what ends up happening is, even though this is what I want, I'm actually going to get something better and what I need. And sometimes
mm,
if I don't declutter and I'm like, no, let me try to plan A, B, C. I have the plans, but I also allow that buffer of,
yeah.
I also have to surrender, because what if my plan isn't as good as what the universe and God has for me?
Amen. And I respect that. That's big. That's big. Man, that was the end of the lightning round. My final thought, or it's not really a question, it's more so statement. To the younger version of yourself, 18-year-old Isabel, um, what words of encouragement would you give to her to get through the things that she's probably dealing with? Or, she wants to be a fashion designer or whatever dreams that she may have. Like, what words of encouragement would you give to the younger version of yourself?
Ooh, I would say, Isabel, the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. Um,
Mm,
and that you don't need anything outside of you to feel enough, because you already are enough. And to
that's powerful.
yeah, I would that would be like the biggest.
Yeah. Wow. That's that's big, man. Because a lot of people, self-doubt is a big thing. Because you in the gotta be like, man, I don't know if I could get this done, especially if you failed before. But I always look at failure as part of the process. Not the end result, but a part of the process. You only fail when you stop. When you stop at failure, that's when you really fail yourself and others and people looking to you. But if you keep going, you just keep going all the time. If you keep going, keep pushing, keep, making little tweaks here, mistakes here. I'm gonna adjust this right here. I think that's when you really get to success. So that's big.
Agreed. And then my mentor would always say this thing, and this would help me. So I wanted to share, whenever we try and take action, three things happen. Your self-respect goes up. You increase the probability of whatever result to actually occur. And number three, you get better at whatever skill that you're working on.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
worth it to try every time and take the action. One foot
Yes. Yes.
forward.
Yes. Yeah. One step at a time, man. That's it. Isabel, please tell the people where to find you, what you have going on, what about your business, what you know, anything that you have that you want to share with them.
Oh, yes. So you can find me. I'm all over the place. So I'm on Instagram at I am Isabel Varela, TikTok, YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. And something that I'm offering, which I'm very excited, is it's a 45-minute complimentary business systems audit. This is where we're looking at what is happening in your business, and yes, the life as well. Because even if we're looking at business, what ends up happening is we're looking at everything in a holistic viewpoint. That's why I'm a holistic business coach. And then
Yeah.
we'll find what needs to be decluttered, what can be better to replace that's more aligned with your life and your business. And then I'll give you your next steps. And then in that call, if you feel called for deeper support, we can. If not, that's not it's not necessary. That's fine. And
Yeah.
I'm doing that. You can, if anyone's interested, you can comment down below, say audit, and I'll
Yeah.
reach out to you. But yeah, that's something that I'm offering now, because with everything happening in the world and there's like so much, it's good to start building your inner systems, your business systems, and declutter those things so to make space for what you want to be doing. So those are the things I'm
Okay.
offering right
Cool.
now. And yeah.
Cool. 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 Yeah, we put the link in the description so they could sign up and get their life audited, their business audited,
Yeah.
and get it decluttered.
Okay, let's get it decluttered and get it
Yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
clarity.
Oh yeah. Repurpose your life, man. I love it. Isabel, it was a pleasure. I always end in a prayer. I don't know if you want to pray us out,
Oh yeah.
if you don't mind. Father God, we come to you today on another episode of the Words of Encouragement podcast. I just want to thank our guest, Isabel Varela, for her insight, her wisdom. Father God, please, anoint her life, the things that she's doing to help people become better versions of themselves, to declutter the things that's blocking them, to clean out the things that they need to clean out in their lives, to take it to the next level, Father God. Father God, she's doing your work. She's, building your kingdom as anything else. We just ask for her protection, her guidance, and her walk with you to be not an easy walk, but definitely a walk that's worth it. Father God, we come to you today to just ask that you keep expanding our territory, keep expanding the people that we reach and the people that we're connecting to, the people that we impact and make sure that we lead them in the right direction. In your name, in Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I
Isabel,
love
it's a
that.
pleasure. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
I'm sorry.
I know, so I love that you
Yeah.
ended with a prayer. Thank you. That was very powerful.
Oh, yeah. 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 I always try to end. Sometimes I forget, but I always try to end with a prayer. So, you know. But yeah, it's been another episode of the Words of Encouragement podcast. Catch us next Wednesday. Peace.
Thank you.